The skills of the new engineering commanders have been revealed, and hey, look, like it or not, Siege is gonna be good. I think it is. And so in this video, we'll review exactly what this is looking like, and well, AoE damage, spoiler alert, AoE damage at range is gonna be good. Let's get into it. Hello my friends and welcome back. I'm Chisgule Gaming, and today's video is sponsored by the makers of Rise of Kingdoms. And in my prior video, I revealed that new commanders had been teased. And if you're subscribed to the channel, you already knew that, so consider subscribing if you haven't already to stay ahead of the news. But we've now got the full skills revealed for both of the new engineering commanders. There's also a leadership garrison on the way. That is not revealed yet, and that is actually the one I'm more interested in personally for my collection. Now, with that said, the first commander we're reviewing is engineering versatility and defense, and their skills go as follows. First skill, Rampaging Elephant. This has a 1,000 rage cost, and it lasts for 5 seconds. This commander's troop deals 10% more ranged normal damage. Whenever their troop launches a ranged basic attack, it deals extra ranged smite damage to the target, damage factor 500, reduced by 50% if not within melee range of the target. So, this is a little bit complicated. Let me break this down. This guy is basically like Sargon the Great. He's going to buff himself, and for the next 5 seconds, he is doing ranged smite damage. He's also boosting his normal attack damage by 10%, which, by the way, is going to increase the amount of smite damage he deals. However, this smite damage, in a perfect world, would add up, 5 seconds, 500 factor a pop. You're looking at 2,500 damage factor, which would be really good. Except, it is reduced by 50% if you are not right up on top of the target. In other words, if you're shooting at range, that number is cut in half. Now, why would that be the case? Because this would be so busted if we could be dropping 2,500 damage factor from the kind of range you get from a tower. Hello? So, yeah, you get the 2,500 damage factor if someone's right on top of you, and it's going to be half that amount if you're shooting at someone far away, which, it's still really good. It's still really good. Swift and Sturdy. This commander's siege units gain 15% march speed and 40% health. The thing that's crazy about siege in this game is that the commanders that do siege stuff give so many stats. 40% health and 15% march speed is nuts. Like Constantine, just think back to OG Constantine. All right, Constantine gives 40% health to infantry on the second skill. Here, you're also getting 15% of march speed. All right, next skill. While in range mode, this commander's troop deals 15% more ranged normal damage, which, by the way, because he does smite damage, that's also going to enhance his skill damage, right? And whenever their troop launches a ranged basic attack, it has a 10% chance to mighty heal. Now, I don't know what the difference is between a heal and a mighty heal, but it's going to mighty heal a portion of the slightly wounded units. Mighty healing factor 400. Mighty healing is a new idea. So what is a mighty heal? I do not know. But they are calling it out as mighty healing factor 400. Either this is a translation thing or there is some new heal. And this is a 5-second cooldown. Now, what does this say? Units who cannot partake in battle right now, but will instantly be healed as soon as they return to your city? Wait. Oh, that's slightly wounded units. Yes. Slightly wounded units are units that cannot participate in the battle right now, but will instantly get healed as soon as they return to your city. They also can be brought back to battle if they're healed with a commander skill. So that's just saying how slightly wounded units work. Right. Okay. I don't know what makes a mighty heal different, but this skill seems fine. Okay. From here, next skill. This commander's siege units also gain 25% attack, and whenever this commander's troop deals range smite damage, which remember, it will do that for 5 seconds, the target loses 20% defense and 15% march speed for the next 3 seconds. Now, there's a cooldown of 10 seconds here. So one of your smite hits, assuming you're not already affected by the cooldown, is going to reduce their defense by 20% and 15% march speed reduction for 3 seconds, which is pretty nice. Oh, and there's the expertise skill. While you're in range mode, this commander's troop deals 25% more range normal attack damage. So this is enhancing that healing skill And whenever your troop launches a basic attack, it has a 10% chance to mighty heal now 600 units and deal extra range smite damage to the target, damage factor 200. I mean, that's not that much damage factor, but these things are all adding up, okay? So I think this commander is going to be good. I think he's basically the Sargon of ranged units. Now, generally, we would say, Sargon and Frederick I style damage is not so exciting. So what makes you say, Chisgule, that this is better for Gajah Mada? And I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but I would say the reason that this could be better, is that when you're attacking at range, I mean, obviously you have a lot more control of will you continue to hit something or not. So you're more likely to get that full 2,500 damage factor. And I feel like that mechanic of, hey, I do more damage every second for the next couple of seconds kind of makes more sense in this context. This brings us to the next hero we need to review right over here. And it's Cordoba, the father of Tercio. Now, I may not be pronouncing that correctly, so apologies. Let me know in the comments. This will be a new era, engineering, versatility, and attack. Let's get a look at this here. Pike and Shot Pioneer. 1,000 rage cost, the active skill. Deals ranged smite damage. Now remember, ranged smite damage is affected by bonuses to ranged normal attack damage. And it is not affected by bonuses to just regular normal damage or skill damage or ranged skill damage. So it's interesting that just boosting your normal attack does not influence your ranged smite damage. It must be ranged normal attack damage enhancements that affect ranged smite damage. Wow, complicated, but okay. So this is dealing smite damage to target troop and up to 3 enemy troops near it, 2,400 damage factor. Now, it is reduced by 50% if this commander's troop is not within melee range of the original target. So it's going to do half that damage, but like, bro, smite damage is basically true damage. And even at half, 1,200 damage factor, okay, to 4 targets. That's the primary target and 3 enemy troops near it. Okay. I mean, bro, I think engineering is going to be undeniable. I really do. The only thing that I struggle with engineering is like, you can't swarm a garrison with it, can you? So like, is it even relevant to a whale? Weirdly, like I'm actually asking, like, I don't know. I don't know the answer here. Okay. But let's keep going here. Conqueror of Granada. This commander's siege units gain 20% attack, 15% march speed, and when you're in ranged mode, you deal 10% more ranged smite damage. So that seems pretty good. What's weird here is that this is enhancing ranged smite damage. Normally, like, why? I don't know. I thought the whole point of smite damage is that, like, you won't have, you know, skill damage enhancement in the same way. Like, anything that increases your ranged normal attack damage increases your smite damage, right? But instead of increasing the ranged normal attack damage, they are specifically increasing the ranged smite damage. So there's a lot going on here that, like, I don't know. It's a little more complicated than I was expecting. Viceroy of Naples. All right, let's talk about it. This commander's siege units get 10% defense. Okay. Whenever this commander's troop uses an active skill, it has a 50% chance to gain 1 stack of Valiant effect for 8 seconds. So it sounds like a buff to yourself. So whenever you use an active skill, you have a 50% chance to gain 1 stack of Valiant. This can stack up to 2 times, and its duration resets whenever it gains another stack. Okay. Now I would assume that when you use your active skill and on your primary commander and on your secondary commander, that's 2 opportunities with a 50% chance to gain that stack of Valiant. So in a skill cycle, you might have 0, 1, or 2 stacks of Valiant that has a sort of accumulated. Now, what does it do? Whenever their troop is hit with a basic attack, it will consume 1 stack of Valiant to deal ranged smite damage to the attacker, damage factor 200, and disarm them, which prevents them from launching basic attacks for 1 second. And it has a 1 second cooldown. I don't know why I have any cooldown at all, but okay, there is a 1 second cooldown. So this could trigger 2 turns in a row, which is pretty cool. And we're looking at 200 ranged smite damage factor from that. Okay. So this is making it so that when you get targeted, you actually like do stuff. The weird thing about ranged units is that it's hard to get away from a bad situation, especially if you are in tower mode. And that means that basically the only way you get a good trade with a ranged unit, if you end up staying for, getting hit, is if you actually are like trading well up until the point where you get wrecked, because at that point you're going to trade poorly. And so if you're running it down or you get into a bad situation, this will help, but nothing will save you, right? It takes 7 seconds to dismantle your siege unit. If you've stayed too long, you're dead. And this will help mitigate that a little bit. But if your position is overrun, you're Dunsky. So the thing I guess I'm trying to say here is that only the 10% defense is kind of relevant, I think, all the time. But for the most part, this isn't going to stop you from getting wrecked, I think. Order of Santiago. This commander's troop takes 20% less ranged counterattack damage, which is kind of amazing. Like, when you think about the damage that you're taking when you're plunking away at somebody from afar, counterattack damage is a big part of it. So reducing the counterattack damage you take is good. Whenever you're hit with a basic attack, so somebody has to be right up on your position, or I guess someone could be hitting you with ranged attacks, it has a 10% chance to gain a 40% bonus to ranged normal damage for 3 seconds and a cooldown of 5 seconds. Wow. So that's pretty good. This is the damage dealt by ranged basic attacks and ranged counterattacks. Yeah, 40% is a big number, but you have to be getting hit. So the whole point of this siege thing is to not be getting hit. So some of these skills, yes, this whole kit is very powerful, but the whole kit shouldn't be relevant most of the time because you should aspire to avoid this situation. And when you get in this situation, these skills are mitigating the effect of, you got overrun, son. And then finally, the last skill, El Gran Capitan. This commander's troop deals 15% more ranged normal damage. And if the current target of this commander's troop is not within melee range, then you deal 20% more ranged smite damage. It is so interesting that we have what? It's just a little bit of a head scratcher for me. We have an alternate to skill damage, but now instead of just making it, so it's just enhanced by normal attacks, we also now have a way to just specifically increase that skill damage. I don't know. I'm literally scratching my head on that one a little bit. Within melee range, this commander's troop deals 30% more counterattack damage, which, yeah, that's really good. That's really good. So this commander feels like it's really mitigating the downside of getting overrun. And the weirdness of these two commanders is that, obviously they're both doing smite damage. So I'm not saying you can't pair with Margaret or Babur, and we should go review their kits and just see, but almost certainly you're supposed to just pair these two together, right? Almost certainly that's what you're supposed to do. They both are doing ranged smite damage. That's gotta be it. All right, let's review Margaret. What does she do again? For the next 3 seconds, you deal, oh God. This commander's troop deals 50% more ranged normal damage. Wait a minute. Hold on, this could work with Smite. Oh no. Whenever their troop launches a ranged basic attack, it deals extra range damage, reduced by 50% of not... Oh man. Dude, Margaret legitimately could work with these new commanders. Hold on. What else? 20% attack, 20% march speed. Whenever their troop launches a ranged basic attack, you have a 10% chance to increase the target's ranged normal damage received. Oh my gosh, the synergy is here! Oh no. This commander's troop deals 8% more range skill damage. Oh, GG. This does nothing. It's 20% more range skill damage. All right. Margaret, I thought for a second you had me going. Whenever their troop deals range skill damage, right, which smite damage is not skill damage, you have a chance to reduce their march speed. All right. I was really going to lose my mind. 5% more damage bonus whenever the troop launches a ranged basic attack, 10% chance to reduce the target's defense. Very powerful effects here, very cool, but this commander's unit contains 10% siege, okay, 10% defense there. Whenever their troop takes damage, 10% chance to recover, a little bit of healing. Yeah, whatever. So that's fine. Nothing there that's too crazy. I just feel like Margaret and Babur stay together, right? Deals range direct damage to the target troop, damage factor 2400. Bro, Babur does single target damage. The other guy does 2400 damage factor to 4 targets. I mean, if that's not power creep, I don't know what is. Like, we just got to call a spade on that one. Like, we just look at it and we just call it what it is. The rest of Babur's kit has to make up for it, right? Because, like, otherwise, bro, the new guy, like, Margaret and Babur are good. That new guy doing 2400 to 4 targets in a circle, I think? Hello? This commander's siege, gain 15% attack, 15% defense. 10% more range, normal damage. Oh my god. Is there synergy here? Wait. While in range mode, you take 10% less normal damage. Okay. Take 10% less range normal damage. Deal more counterattack damage. Whenever you launch a ranged basic, you could do extra damage factor to the target. Okay. This commander's siege gain 30% health. Whenever their troop takes damage, siege units in their troop have a 10% chance to get either 40% they get both of these? 40% defense and 5% damage for 5 seconds. Holy. And then the passive skill, siege get 10% attack. Whenever their troop uses an active skill, it gains 50 rage per second for the next 3 seconds. Cool down 5 seconds. Hey, yo. That is pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Ranged are going to be good, man. Ranged are going to be, they're going to be good. Like, I said this, I'm not to pat myself on the back, but if you're subscribed, you know, I've been saying that the developers are just going to keep pushing the power on ranged until people are doing it. And, you know, the weirdness is, oh, well, are you going to make a whole set of engineering? And the other weirdness is, well, if I can't swarm a flag with it, does it even fulfill any purpose for me? Truly. Like actually, as an endgame player, if I can't swarm a flag as a whale, there's actually perhaps no point for me. Like, I know it might be good for field, but like, is it good enough that I would take on an additional play style to micromanage? I don't know. The things you have to fight against to use siege is it's a tall ask for an Imperium kingdom, and I'm just laying out there to be like super honest about like, will I use this or not? Because like, you know, I might be in the market for another set of equipment in the open field. I hope not to be, but I might be. And if I am, then what am I going to do? And you know, if I need to now have tier 5 siege, which my kingdom's not going to want me to do for power reasons, for Imperium and matchmaking. If I'm going to have to manage that march differently than the way I use all my other marches, it's actually going to be hard to do. Like a skill issue for sure. If anything, it's just like a lot of micro. But like there are things you can do with it that's cool. Like the kingdom, I'm sure would appreciate like people that do this. So I don't know. I don't know the answer. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. My continued stance is that range will be good. And I think the new commanders bring the heat. I really do. Now, do you need to go work on them? That's entirely up to you. I mean, from what we've seen in the game in the past, the safest thing to work on is going to be your infantry, your archers, and your cavalry. Leadership, like I mean, I got burned. I hope other people didn't. But you know, like I keep talking about it because like, oh, I don't have my gear on my Trajan because I'm fighting in KVK. It's somewhere. Maybe it's on my city, right? So, you know, I think that engineering will be a long-term thing in the game. I don't think they now with 2 commander cycles are just going to go back on that. But in terms of what's safe, I think the safest investments in the game are infantry, archers, and cavalry, right? And like, if you just want to play it safe, that's the way to go for sure. Just infantry, your archers, and your cavalry. That's as safe as can be. Now, that said, I think Siege is going to be good. Leave a comment. If you want to see some more videos about Siege commanders and their performance, card in the end screen in just a second. Even before the ranged commanders got buffed, they were doing pretty good. Hope you'll check out those vids, and until next time, you have fun smashing the kingdom.